Welcome to Conversations in Culinary, your all-access pass to the world of the restaurant industry. Each episode, our guests will uncover the secrets behind your favorite dishes, from the bustling kitchens to the art of the plating, and hear from the chefs and insiders who make it all happen. Get ready to see the restaurant world like never before. Let's dig in.
We've got Mr. DeAndre Carter with us from Soul and Smoke. How you doing today, Chef?
Man, I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Dude, good. Thanks for coming in today. The sun came out when you decided to come on in, so that's a good thing.
I was like, well, I know, right? I was coming from Evanston. I'm on Express. So I'm like, man, like it's so cloudy where I was at. Now I'm heading towards the city. I'm like, I just get this aha moment because you got like the city skyline is starting to get brighter. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a good interview. It's gonna be a good day.
So we were just talking before we started recording here. So you're from the south side of Chicago.
Yeah, from the south side.
So am I. Where are you from?
I'm from 132nd in Indiana. Some people consider it like the Roseland area. Some people consider it like Riverdale, but we like right on the edge. 134th in Indiana. That's where like the Roseland area like ends, and that's where you go into like Riverdale.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm a Market Park kid, man. 73rd in California. I still go down there every once in a while. Go to Fat Johnny's and get some hot dogs. But man, oh man, that neighborhood is really changed, man.
Yeah, man. It changes a lot. You know, it changes. And honestly, like the change in the neighborhood and me being from there is kind of what really drives me, yo. Because I just, like the people, like it's still a lot of people like in the neighborhood that, you know, that knows me, you know, from my grammar school days, high school days. Mm-hmm. And they got kids and some of them even got grandkids. And, you know, I become like this role model to the neighborhood, you know, like these stories being told, you know, and kind of just knowing the neighborhood, it just kind of like pushed me harder to, you know, be more successful, you know, to show, you know, the young Black kids what it could be, you know, if you stay focused. For sure.
I want to get into that a little bit more, but tell us about Soul and Smoke. How did this all start? Give me who are you, man? How did this all start? Like,
okay, yeah, because all that stuff, like it ties in me from being from the South Side. Mm-hmm. You know, I grew up with a, you know, single mom, grandma's baby.
Sure.
I'm my first grandchild. She even gave birth to me. So me just like growing up being attached to my grandmother. And just like, so I grew up on 132nd. She grew up on, she lived on 117th. So once I got old enough to get on a bus myself, it was late, like a 10-minute bus ride to go to grandma's house. Long story short, I spent a ton of time over there. And my grandma loved to cook. You know, she was an early bird. She was a nurse. So she was getting up like early every single day. And I was just one of those attached grandkids just get up. I get up with her. You know, I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm just wanting to be with my grandma. I'm up with my grandma. You know, she making breakfast, lunch, prepping dinner. And then the barbecue scene kick in because my grandma had 7 kids, you know. She had 4 girls and 3 boys, and they all had kids. And then here we go. Then the grandkids, like I said, I'm the first one. Anytime it was a celebration, you know, we'd go to the back and light that grill up. You know, we light the grill up. You know, it's mostly like, you know, just spare ribs, chicken. You know, I call it. Now I'm from my 40s. I call it like short-term smoking because you know this is what I do right now. But we do like a lot of short-term smoked items. My grandfather, Mr. A, used to like goat. That's probably like the longest thing. But going to like back how Soul and Smoke started, man. It started. I think the customers pretty much started. Heather and I, we always talk about this. So after I did my internship at Moto, I ended up staying there. You know, I ended up being there for 4 years. And I thought I was going to be like this, you know, I thought I was going to be a chef for the restaurant, you know. And fast forward later, we get to that now. I'm just not getting to that. So it's just being patient, being consistent. But Soul and Smoke just started. You know, once I left Moto, we started hosting these underground dinners. And I don't know if you guys are familiar like with the underground dinner scene, like in 2013 to 2012. You know, that was a thing, man.
Yeah.
You had Sunday dip.
Sunday. It was cool as hell to be invited to one, to go to one, to be cooking at one of those things. Yeah, man, that's awesome.
It was cool. And it was a way for like chefs who wanted to like open their own restaurant, you know, and didn't have the money to just like host them out their apartments, host them at these secret locations. And Feast and Bar was one of those, you know, pop-up underground kind of like concepts that we used to do. And it was like super cool. And I was like, man, super excited. I was real ambitious then. I was like in, early 30s, late 20s. I was like, I want to change the menu like every week. And I was just like pushing
take on
myself.
the world, right?
Yeah, man, I was just young and ambitious, But Soul and Smoke started because I got my first Eater article when we was doing that underground dinners, and different companies started reaching out like, yo, DeAndre, can you like cater this? Can you cater, this lunch for us? Can you cater this event for us? And then, we write up the invoice, we write up the menu, and they're like, oh, no, can you just like, we want the food, yo, but can you just like, just drop it off to us? And I was like, man, the food I'm doing, you can't drop it off, yo. You got to have somebody there to assemble this, Sure. It has to be put together. So I was like, okay, what I can drop off too, I can drop off some barbecue chicken, some pulled pork, some mac and cheese, salads and stuff like that. That was the original Soul and Smoke menu. It was real like simple, basic. Yeah, and it just like kind of just went from there. So that was kind of like my side thing while I was still doing Feasting and Bob at night. So in the morning time, where, we'd get up like 6, 7 in the morning, get the orders out for lunch. They have to be gone by, I say, the latest 11 a.m. And then we used to do these underground dinners and these pop-ups that 3 nights a week, they was always sold out. And then we'd work on our dinner menu at night, So I get that out the way. Remember, I'm just leaving my job. This is my first, I'm leaving my safety net. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
So like I'm grinding.
Scary as hell.
Yeah, scary as hell. So I'm trying to bring in like as much money as possible, don't know where it's about to go. Didn't even know it's about to be like what it is today. Yeah. We just was grinding. And luckily I just had like a partner, man. Heather's she a grinder too. So when 2 people was, they're really working hard towards something, I feel like we just could take on anything.
Wow. Yeah, no doubt. And it looks like you brought us some rubs, some barbecue sauce, some beer. You guys are, and how many locations you got right now, Chef?
Right now we got 4 locations. We got 4 locations, 2 food trucks. We got some retail items like you mentioned. We got the rub, we got the barbecue sauce, we got the beer for the soul, which we collaborate with Sketchbook Brewery. And that beer, I'm just super proud of because honestly, like we used to bring the food truck to Sketchbook. And we like just sell food there while they doing their beer thing. And they was like, yo, you guys want to do a beer together? And we was like, I never even heard of like restaurants like chefs like collabing on beer. So I'm like, man, fuck, let's do that. Let's just do it.
So you can swear, Chef.
I can swear.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hell yeah.
It's okay. Cool then. Cool.
He's like, all right, I like these people.
Yeah. So Caesar, the head brewer, is like, man, he came over to the space. And he's just like, man, he honestly just like, yo, what kind of beer you like drinking? And I was just like, yo, I like Gumball Head. I like Fin du Monde. I like stuff like that. So then he was telling me what type of beer it was. And then, he came back with this Belgian Pale Ale. And then, so in the beginning, it's like I got like this whole beer story, man. Like when I first started drinking beer, like I hated hops. I really didn't like hops. Yeah. I didn't like the bitterness of it until like, Trevor, who works at Old Orville Brewery, the head brewer over there, he started. So it goes ways back, man. Because like after that fine dining chef, you're going out Saturday night.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Like you're going out Saturday night. You're going out Saturday night, man. And he's like, man, try this, man. Like try this beer. We going to like these different bars. We young, we stand out till like 2, 3 in the morning, just having fun. I think that was our way of just recouping through the week because fine dining was hard as hell. So we need like the exhale some type of way. Yeah, man, my beer journey is a special journey as well. And now I'm really into it. But long story short, that beer, man, it's so great. They submitted it to the World Beer competition and won bronze medal, yo.
Dang.
And that sauce was, the sauce, going back to the sauce, going back to my like early years as, being a kid in barbecue, I didn't even know it was like all these different styles of barbecue sauce. I didn't know about, no Carolina or, all the vinegar base and stuff like that. The only style of sauce I knew, and I found out this later, was the Kansas City style sauce. That was barbecue sauce to me.
Yeah, for sure.
You get what I'm saying? Thick, tangy, all the watery stuff, the white stuff, the yellow stuff, I didn't know nothing about until, my cooking journey started. But that sauce, it was now like all the Marianas. I think it's like in the selected Marianos now. We got it in a bunch of small shops, and you can also get it online at soulandsmoke.com. But that was the top selling local barbecue sauce in Marianos for a while, yo. And we just got our rub in there. Chef Carter's the OG rub. That's pretty much our all-purpose rub. People can get that. They can order it online. That's what we use for our ribs, our tips, our spare ribs, our brisket. It's a very, very flavorful rub, man.
Wow, man.
So we work with a local artist also, and they got me like on the food truck. Like,
Oh, dude, that's so cool, man.
Like we got some of our staff right here. This was one of my food truck chefs, Spencer, when he was here. I got Angie right there. You know, we wanted to represent barbecue, so we got like the cows and the chicken, and then we got the sketchbook, like what they call these things, like the brew thing, the nailer or something like that.
Yeah. I know what they're I know what they're called, but if you, no, yeah. I can't tell you.
Well, it's the big thing that they brew, beer in, just for the audience to know.
Yeah, it's like the big
That's
silver,
where the beer
the
comes
big
from.
silver cup thing.
Yeah, and then the sauce, it's like I said, Kansas City style sauce. Got a little quick story about me growing up on the South Side. Just hanging out with my grandma a lot. This sauce took me like 3 months to make, man. It's that's what like all things, all things I want. I try to keep it familiar as possible, but I try to enhance it with my touch if I can. It gets this one is Kansas City style. You got some citrus notes in there, so a little bit of ginger in there, some Thai chilies and stuff like that. But it still don't take away from the integrity of a true Kansas City style sauce. If I'm calling it Kansas City style, it should be Kansas City style, and you shouldn't like bust your brain figuring it out. But you should know that it's different and that it's really tasty. You don't know why. It's because I put my touch on it.
Yeah.
So getting back to about something you said a little earlier, how important is it for you to be viewed as, or how important is it to you to be a black chef in the community, right? Is it one of those things? Because, some chefs of color, you talk to them, they're like, I don't care. I just want to be known as a good chef, right?
Yeah.
Other guys are like, no, I want to, or girls would be like, no. Like, it's important for my community and for what I'm doing for the black community, right?
Yeah.
Showing that, like, kind of like to your story earlier, but you kind of getting out of the hood and kind of making something of yourself, right? So what does that mean to you today? How does that affect your life and those around you, basically?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question because I used to go back and forth about that, in my head, like, do I want to be labeled as a black chef or I just want to be labeled as like a good chef, just a good chef. When I was telling that story about my neighborhood, it's because that's where I'm from, that's what people who know me, who grew up with me, who people that's going through hard times and we went through those same hard times, and you got this kid, who just stayed focused, stayed grounded, kind of like disciplined itself and really wanted to make it. Really want to make my family proud. Really want to make the community proud. But that's where it was really at, man. Because like the reason why, like when you do something, in my opinion, it got to be more of a backstory to like the why are you doing it? You get what I'm saying? Because you could be a chef, you can just, you can cook and you can be, that's it. It's plenty of chefs, that's doing a thing and not on it, not doing as much as I'm doing. It's some chefs that's doing like way less than what I'm doing. It's a lot of chefs that's doing a lot of things, more than what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But I think like as far as being a chef of color, it's kind of just being a chef from my community even more, because from where I grew up at, and then like the kids, like, so I'm in Evanston, right? We end up in Evanston, I'm in the 5th Ward. That's kind of like the black part of Evanston. And then me just seeing the kids, like where my building is at, like the kids, like they go back and forth to school. Like they got to walk past my building to like get to school and then to get back. And after a while, I was like, man, I just wish I just had this, like growing up. I just wish I was like able to walk past a small business and like, I know the owner and he's like super cool. Like, like in the hood, all the liquor store owners and different owners, but you don't know like any positive like owners. You get what I'm saying? So, I talk to the kids come in, they get water, they get cornbread, and conversation and they just want to like know. And I tell them about food and that becomes like really fucking cool, man.
Yeah. That's really fucking cool.
It comes cool, man.
Chills a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, man. That's that's awesome.
They get like because the kids, it's like, man. Then now they growing up and they just seeing it because it's like when you're a kid, you grow up. It's like, oh, I want that car. I want this. You going off site. You're not hearing about it. You got to see it. You get what I'm saying? I see like bingo and no steals. Like that's my car. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be a business owner too, yo. You know what I'm saying? You can grow up. But this what I did, yo. I had to stay focused. You got to be disciplined. You got to follow your gut. You can't be a follower all the time. You can't be afraid not to be a follower. First of all, because some people got the peer pressure on them, and you can't be afraid of peer pressure. You get what I'm saying? You just gotta You got to go with what you know was right, man.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So
that's really good advice. Man, that's awesome.
Well, and I think it changes. Like you start to, you begin with the passion and you're like, oh, I love this world. And then you're as you evolve in your personal life, you have kids, you get married and all that good stuff. And then you start to connect the full circle. Right. And so I remember being a kid, not being allowed to do anything. My parents came here from Korea and, I was like straight up, like, I'm the only one who speaks English over here. Like it was weird, but now looking back, it was weird, but living then I didn't know any different. Yeah. I'm just a kid. And so now full circle moment is now I have my kids. It is imperative for me to over explain everything because I said so doesn't mean anything. Like, why? All my life. Why? Why did you say so? So I over explain, but then everything I do, it's a different meaning for me. Everything from the nonprofit to the for-profit, for all of this in culinary truly is about full circle moment. Yeah. Like giving it back, not only just a community, but there's a cause and a reason that is personal to the culinary community. And if 50 kids run by your front of your store and you inspire that one and they become brilliant tomorrow, that's all you need. That will make me feel so great. That will make me feel like it was my purpose to be right there. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And that's what it's just bigger than today, man. Everything is like bigger than the moment in my eye, the way I look at things. That's called evolving, and I don't think we pay attention to that.
No, agreed. It's like there was an old quote. I think it was from The Office. The guy's like, I wish somebody would tell you that you're living in the good old days, that when, like when it is the good old days, right? You know what I mean? I really just botched that up, but whatever.
That the good old days is now.
Yeah, the good old days is today, right? Exactly.
I know,
exactly.
Right?
So stop trying to.
So, Chef, we got our own beer, we got our own sauce, we got our own rub, we got 4 locations, we got 2 food trucks. What is next for you, man? The sky's the limit, but I feel like you're pretty high up there. What's going on? You got more locations coming? What are you working on?
Well, the goal is to be the face of barbecue in Chicago.
There you go.
That's the goal. I want to be known like nationally. I want when people come visit Chicago, this great food city, I want them to already know, I'm about to go check Soul & Smoke out. As far as what's next, I just finished opening 500 West Madison. We just opened that 2 months ago in the Central Tower building. And honestly, I'm just recovering from that. The biggest project. So I really wanted to get that done and trained up before I really focus on Evanston, which is like my flagship location. Okay. That's going to be a full-service restaurant. You got a bar in there. We're going to have a private dining room. I got another secret project that's happening up inside there, pretty much going back to my old underground days and pop-up days. I want to do something with that space. The building is a 10,000 square foot building that we end up getting.
Yeah, that's big.
And over time, we end up, and I'm just so thankful for my landlord too, because she, first of all, just taking over that space, it was basically done off of like a trust, a handshake type of deal, And I think all small business owners, not even, you don't have to be culinary, sometimes you just need people to trust you. You get what I'm saying? You just need people to believe in you sometimes. And this lady, man, she believed in me and and she was about to retire. That's how we ended up getting the building. The building had about 5 units up in there. We end up, when we first moved in, we had like the 1 unit, and then we ended up growing. We had this catering company. Feast and Bar was really going really good before the pandemic, but that's a different story. I'll tell you guys about that. Then we end up getting like another space. Then we started getting more vehicles in there. Now we needed the other garage over there. Then next thing you know, she tell us like, yo, she's like, I'm getting too old for this. I'm about to retire. She like, but since I really like you guys young and I really believe in what you're doing, I'm gonna give you guys first right of refusal. We like, first right of refusal. That's how we learned about first right of refusal. Make
it till you make it.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, so I want to sell the building and I'm giving you guys first rights. I'm gonna give you guys first rights to the building. Yeah. And she gave us a whole year, to come up with that money.
Oh my God.
She gave us but we had to ask banks for a whole year, man. We was getting turned down everywhere, man. It's moments when we thought we wasn't going to be able to get it. But we found the right guy. He made the right connection and we ended up owning the building. We still had tenants in there at the time. So we had tenants in the units. And then, like I said, the lady who sold us the building at first, she was trying to get out the business, and then she was trying to get out her shared kitchen business. So we also had, the kitchen is pretty big too. That's how we was able to do so much catering today. But back then, we also had, we had tenants who we shared the kitchen with that was helping offset some of the bills, and it just ended up working itself out.
Wow.
And that working itself out. It was a great, man, my life is just like, I was just like, sometimes I sit back and like, damn, I just can't believe it just like went like this. When I'm not totally in it, like my head not in it, and say for instance, I'm at the gym or like riding my car to kind of reflect on like what's going on, like damn, like you feel kind of lucky, you just feel.
Kinda.
Yeah. You feel good, but then it goes back to the purpose. And like you say, the why always changes, First, I'm young. I want to be the best. Not even want to be the best. First, it was like, I'm making this transition from the South Side. I want to make my parents and my grandma proud of me. You know what I'm saying? I want to do something really good. Then it becomes to, you getting in it and now you want to be the best. And then you getting into it now, I meet somebody and now I got kids and I want the best for my kids. And now it's like, oh, damn, I'm looking around like outside of my household and what like where I'm at, like, and then it's like, man, I'm seeing these kids walking back and forth and I'm inspiring them, and I'm seeing like kids from my old neighborhood, and I'm inspiring them, and just everybody just like, damn. I'm like, damn, with y'all, shit. Like, I'm focused, y'all. Let's keep on going, and just, the food trucks came, and, the retail line came, and
man, I love talking to like, there's so many chefs you talk to, even on this this, they're so jaded, right? They're like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I'm so lucky. Like, he's kind of like,
I'm real humble, yo. Because I know it was hard, yo. I mean, I really don't like using the word, well, it was hard, yo. There's no way around it. I really don't like that word, though, saying something that's hard, because it's just a mind frame thing. But it was a real journey for us, yo. It was a real journey. And shit, I got to look back and it's like, yo, it's a blessing.
What is something that you know now that you wish somebody would have told you when you first started this crazy ride?
That running the business is a lifestyle. Like, people ask, like, man, like, yo, how do you do, like, all this stuff? I just didn't wake up and just, like, start doing all this stuff. I transitioned to, all this stuff, from, like, going to school to, like, working in this fine dining restaurant to, like, doing these undergrounds. Like, everything was, like, a commitment to the task. Like, for the last 15 years for me has been just being committed to what you're supposed to do. Just, you wake up and you should want to do it. You should have to do it. And you shouldn't be fighting your brain back and forth about the work. It's just got to get done. And then if you do that for so long, it becomes habit. It don't even feel like work because you're waking up doing what needs to be done.
Yeah, you're already doing it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it's a lifestyle.
I think if you're doing what you love, then the work part or hard part kind of goes away. You're just trying to get it done.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to be said for that, is like, it's too hard. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. Those kind of words is kind of, taking it down. But I mean, I think that's one of the, I don't know. I never explained that. And, it's my passion, I'm an adrenaline junkie and I'm really competitive, and say all those things. But it's really about if you're passionate about what you're doing, you're not really working, you're just getting it done. You're trying to accomplish whatever it is. Yeah. And so, how do you give that? I mean, like, what words, I don't know, like, how do you put those into words to give to somebody, like, without saying all those other things? I think that's a thought, food for thought, because that's what it is. That's kind of like what you need to say. Like, I want it in a word, so then I can say, that's what it is, but it doesn't exist because it's all of those things combined. And one of the things is if you love what you're doing and you're in the right place, then it's all kind of just, you do it until the work is done. It doesn't matter how many hours, how many days, how many years.
Yeah, and that's very important. I'm glad you brought that up too, because it goes back to the times too. Like the times, I'm like, I grew up in the 90s, like my step grandfather used to always ask, like, what you want to be when you grow up? And this and that, like, you got to work hard for it. And, work hard, work hard, work hard. Don't give up, don't give up, to give up. That's what she was hearing. That's what she was hearing growing up.
Yeah.
And you're not hearing that right now.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You're hearing about balance and zen out and
Equal opportunity.
and it's all cool. It's all good, but hey,
It's a different dynamic.
The turnout is different.
For sure. For sure. One last question for you, Chef, and then we'll let you get out of here. What am I ordering when I come into Soul and Smoke? What's your signature dish? What am I having?
All right. So if you come to Soul and Smoke, first of all, you gotta try the brisket. We use a certified, prime brisket. It was rated some of the best brisket outside of Texas. That's I think the whole menu is fire. But you have to go.
That's a good thing, by the way, that you think that. Yeah.
So you go to the brisket. Yeah, you go to the brisket. You try that. The shrimp and grits. It's fire. Use heirloom grits. Chicken sausages, gravy. Then these nice plump shrimp. The gumbo, you can't get past that. The smoked chicken gumbo. I honestly eat that almost every day. The tip and link combo. That's a classic Chicago thing. But the tips I use is the rock grade tip. And then the hot link, you guys know Greg Lasky, right? From Greg Lekatech from Salumi, Chicago.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I partner with him. He making my hot links fresh for me. He's using the Naduya. So it's like a hybrid between like a hot link and a Naduya sausage.
Really?
And then we smoke on those things over hickory and we finish it on charcoal grill. So those is a must-have. Then we putting our sauce on top. You can't beat
With a
that.
special touch.
Most people order, but if you ask like,
I can't wait to try it.
It depends. Like most meat eaters, they say those things, and then you got like the everyday people, that really love our mac and cheese. They think this is the best mac. At one point, the mac and cheese, I thought that was gonna be like, the mac and cheese is like crazy good. People always talk about it. I really love the cornbread. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's hard to pick one.
One of everything.
No, I hear you.
If you come for the first time.
One of everything.
Yeah.
Everything is giving me the chills. So, it all sounds good. But, man, I can't wait to come in and see you.
We still talk about your cornbread because you remember you did the donation?
Yeah.
And I'm like, just leave it alone. We're going to send it out. And they're like, we just want to slice it. And once you know it, like you gave us the whole pan and there was like this much chunk. Well, we just tried a little bit. And I'm like, and they still talk about it. I'm like, where Soul and Smoke is? Go and buy it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm real confident with the menu right now. As a chef, you go through these different stages and you got these different feelings as people go like what you're doing. And, to today, right now, I'm really confident. I think we want to one of the best, and it's just about, making it available for everybody, spreading it out, just making sure people, have access to get to it, but I think once people try it, it's a wrap. Just like, we opened up at 500 West, like people were going to, they couldn't believe like how good this food was, like in a kind of like food hall, kind of like food court setting, And yeah, man, we're going to continue spreading out. We're going to take a break out the 500 West. Like I said, it just opened up, 500 West Madison. Evanston is a big project. I think we're just about to focus on that. And we're going to slowly get to everybody.
One day, one step at a time.
I love it.
That's really amazing. Last year when you came to Jupiter's conversation, I was like, you're up next. And he was like, and he's like, yeah. He's being all like shy. And he's like, and he pulls me because, I'm really shy. And I'm like, what?
I know. I think that's one. And that's very true. I've always been like nervous. I always been like, just like shy. I don't even know why. I just like this setting, like, but I think it's like part of just being like this chef, right? Because, all while I was in culinary school and all when I was at Moto, like I'll see like the cameras coming in and I'll see like Chef Omar like and Ben like doing these interviews and stuff. And it was something I never really had to worry about. Just like, just cook, you just got to like cook and just make sure your stuff is right. Even when we got out on our own, like as far as like, me being introduced to like Chicago, it always is like somebody like writing, they write about you, so you getting out that way. And then, now they ask you, you want to, can the news come and like film you or whatever?
Yeah.
And I'm terrified as hell because I think I'm like, I don't even want to record me now. So then, I got past that jitter, and now I'm kind of like confident. Now I'm just like, yo, I try to bring a good energy, and then now, I saw you last year. I was like, man, I'm still nervous, right? And you was like, no, you gonna be fine. So, that was a year ago. Yeah.
A lot changes in a year. A lot changes in a year. But, I think what I appreciate about your story right now is that, through your journey, you're focusing on, to get from here to there. It's always a motion forward. It's not about being in the past or trying to figure out something that, you're thinking too hard. And I tell all chefs, stop. Chef, you think too hard. Sometimes you got to feel it.
Oh, you're getting in your own way.
The time.
Me especially. I know.
I call him all the time, and I blast him.
She says, "Stop being a bitch. Stop getting your own goddamn way." Jesus Christ, we have this conversation once a month. Stop calling me once a month, then.
Yeah, I do. I'm like, you write your cookbook yet? You write your cook? Oh yeah, that thing. But you know
what? Though I appreciate you being on my ass because everybody needs a Jiwon in their life.
Yes. Sure. I believe so. Yeah. Because I see things. I truly, when I meet y'all, and before I taste your food and I watch you cook, and I see things. And so my part is I see you before you see you, and that's my downfall, because you can't catch up to what I'm seeing. Because unless you see it for yourself, you can't get there. You don't know what that is. I can be like, you're going to be great. And you're going to just, and I've seen it. I've seen people fall hard. What the heck happened to you? And it's just you getting in your own way. So if you have a network, and that's what I'm trying to collaborate and build, is if you have a network, a trusted network, a vetted network, and you know me, I know you, and now we're all connected. Something happens, you're like, we line up and we support each other. We are the front lines for each other. And that's the community that I want to see build and take the next level of culinary to tomorrow, because we need the youths to teach one, each one, teach one, and so on and so forth, because we don't have enough of that. In fact, I don't even know where I would, if some young chef said, what school should I go to? I would probably say, you don't. You start in a dish room. And then I would say, and they would be like, well, I don't wash dishes. And you go, well, how do you know all the plates and the silverware and which goes what? Until you get out of this room and you know what to call all of those in that restaurant, you ain't gotten up to you're not going to hold a knife. Yeah. You're not even going to hold a fork. So
that's where we started at Moto. We had to polish, I don't care, if you had experience, you was coming as an intern, you had to polish silverware, polish pots. You had to know exactly what each utensil was, each plate was before you even got your station. And then that's another thing I appreciated about it too. That kind of shook my jitteries, because when Chef Homar Cantu is program, you would come in, you do an internship in the kitchen, and then everybody wanted to, so many people at that time wanted to work there. Then you have to do a rotation, you have to do some, you have to work in FOH some. So you will be you start off as a back waiter, and then you eventually become a lead server, and then you get your turn back in the kitchen. So it was a full circle thing, And that was just the funnest thing, just seeing people react to the foods you make, and just knowing this is something special. Someone's paying they's paying a lot of money to cut a Moto, but they paying hard working money, for these dishes, just getting back to your point, I've totally blanked out.
No, but this is the podcast. This is the conversation in culinary is about that, is a place for us to have this conversation unfiltered. There's no script. We're going to ask you, some key questions, because there's a commonality to every single one of you, whether you like it or not, whether you're doing, the fine, James Beard to, I'm just on a little food cart. There's some commonality between the passion, your roadmap, your journey. There's a similarity. So maybe by showing and sharing and having that conversation, maybe the kids, that are coming up in the game, they're going to realize I belong there. That's me, right. So yeah, it's I'd like to be in places where I have at least one person that looks like me, and then I can touch one and say, okay, I'm safe. but we don't have that space. You go into school, I mean, the culinary school, I just don't know enough. I mean, the only one that I know now is Kendall. Like, and then you have, what is it? The Washburn?
Yeah, Washburn. I don't know. Did the art center still got the school? No, not really.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this is exactly what I'm talking about. We talk about cordon bleu. Everybody knew it. It's not here anymore. And it was corrupted as heck. But we know that because it was an institution that the culinary community can follow. Johnson and Wales. Okay. You know, that's the only other one.
I mean, for the rich kids.
Rich kids. But, you know, I think this is the beginning. So this is the first series of the podcast, and we want to have more dialogue. We want you to come back as, you know, as things happen and talk about it. If there's something happening that's good, bad, or ugly, I think we need to just unfiltered. Again, we're not network driven. Like Juan was here, and really, he's like, "Can I swear?" We're like, well, "Okay." You know, we're thinking, "Yeah, fuck you, whatever." I mean, he was like, "What's the first phrase he said?"
Oh,
I want to kill everybody.
I don't know. I just didn't want to kill somebody or something. I'm like 9 times in one sentence.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
All right, well, get it out.
I was like, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. Well, just get it all out. But I think there needs to be a space for us to let it out, because sometimes you have to exhale and to move forward. And so I want that space. I want to create that environment. I want it to be legitimate, because it's not chefs being crazy. It's called we're humanizing the chefs, that that you all break and you all overthink. You all have your disaster moments. But the one difference is you get up. You get up every day.
Yeah.
You pick yourself up and you just grind. And we don't have enough of that.
Yeah, sometimes I get worried because I love Chicago so much and I love cooking so much. I'm just like, like what the next 10 years gonna look like? Is who gonna be like the like most popular? Like I think like I don't know, and I really like. I think about this. Is the home social media chefs gonna be the legit chefs? Because like you think about it, right? You got like these chefs like cooking like out their home, and I respect everybody like grind, but then they got more experience with, you know, just social and just getting out there. I don't know. I just think, I don't know, maybe just maybe me thing. Like the chefs that's super serious, they really don't got time for like social. They really honing in on the craft. They got somebody like doing it for them. But then you see like different, you know, culinary things popping up.
Yeah.
And it's like some popular, you know.
Yeah, but do you ever watch have you ever watched the outcome? I mean, you're only seeing there, so you can't smell it or taste it. But when you're seeing it, you're like, did somebody tell you not to put beige all over a plate? Like, it's not a good feeling that you want to eat. And, you know, and I think there's a fraction of them that's, you know, legit. That they're really test kitchening and doing all these things, but it's not going to be in my home. I might see it and I might pick it up like a TikTok university type of crap. But you're not going to reach my home and my family with your food, but you will. The brick and mortars, the food carts, to, you know, the kiosk, because I'm going to go there. And as long as we're humans, we have to eat food to survive. So, and you know what? Unfortunately, we're pack people, animals are, you know, we're packed, you know, that we want to be a part of a community. We want to be a part of it. So I don't think restaurants are going to die, but they're really trying hard to kill us. Yeah. I feel very much so. And I'm not going.
You'll come out on top. I think those guys, you know, I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I was like, you know, what's crazy is like social media, YouTube, all that stuff. Like, yeah, there's an opportunity to make a ton of money, right? And I'm like, but the second they stop posting,
it's done.
Their business is over. Like they become a has-been. Maybe not Mr. Beast, like that dude. He's got his hands on a lot of different things, but like most of them, it's crazy, man.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Actually, I think things are going to come full circle, and I think people are going to start, you know, like the whole COVID thing. I'm over it. I'm over it. Whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like even like the more experience, I was thinking like things might have to get. I don't know. Like I dine out a lot. I go to a lot of restaurants, me and my family, and we just like we see like some of the skills, I think because talent is like limited as well too. It's a lot of simple things got to be done right today. You know, today that's what it is today. You know, simplicity, being done right, and people know what they're doing. You know, and that's one thing I always fight myself on, because I can't be like, you know, I know a lot of people know me as Soul and Smoke, but then like in my heart, I'm like, you know, like the chef, you know, and I try to bring that to Soul and Smoke as much as possible, but I got to be conscious that I can't be, you know, as ambitious, as creative as I really want, because, you know, nobody really want to do that tedious work like that no more. Or you sort of limited a little bit, you know. So you try to like keep it simple or fun, but you want to make it enjoyable for people. And then it's a little bit of, you know, competitive among chefs, but it's like a friendly thing, you know. Everybody want, you know, the best food or the best dishes, the best overall restaurant. But it's like, how can you like? I was at a restaurant like last week. I was at a restaurant last week, and not as a guest, but I was just, you know, as they ordered some food from Soul and Smoke to share with their staff, and I don't want to say the restaurant.
Yeah.
But I was talking to one of the cooks. You know, I was talking to one of the cooks, and they, you know, this is a fine dining restaurant. The chef is you know, he's been nominated for like all these James Beards, and I look at his stuff, I'm like, damn, this dude like one of the most progressive chefs like in Chicago right now. He's fucking like killing it. But then like after I talked to his staff, he tell me like, yo, you know, we can't keep people past 3 months, you know, 6 months, we'd be lucky to have somebody here 6 months. So we got to keep on retraining. And, you know, I know chef want to be, you know, I know he want to, you know, make the coolest dishes, you know, as far as being fit, stay fresh, like all that stuff. But then it takes a toll on these young guys with the new mind frame, because they like, yo, why the fuck are we doing like all this cool like stuff? We just want to like make some food, and you know, it's too hard for the newbies to come in, you know, because the newbies, you know, you got them, you know, doing bruins and tournays and, you know, all this stuff. They don't want to do that. You get what I'm saying? They don't want to do that, but it's you know. Hard. And I felt it, you know, the cook that was telling me that, he's like, yeah, I've been here like a year and a half, you know, I came from out of town, and then he brought this other young cook over there. And it turned out to be a really good day, you know, me talking to these, I really like talking to those young chefs, you know. Like I said, you know, they in their 20s, they, you know, they get into fine dining, you know, around the same age I was, and it's just a whole different mind frame, and they just telling me, like, they kind of like venting to me. He's like, man, it's like, and they thank me for like talking to him, and it's just like, yo, I used to do that too, you know, like you just got like finish working hard. Like the way my mind frame was, I had to like earn these vacations. I had like earners, like our first 7-8 years of feasting and Bob Slice, Soul and Smoke, man, Heather, we didn't really take no days off like that, especially when we ain't had no kids. When we had no kids, we were working around the clock, yo. Around the clock. There was no reason not to. You know, we had to get things done. You know, we have financial responsibilities, you know, just all type of responsibilities. Just like, and then we was on our own. We have safety net anymore. We weren't getting paid by somebody else, you know. But it was a lot of rewarding moments, you know. I still remember when we made our first $1,000. I thought that was the best thing ever, to make $1,000 on your own, yo, without like working a job, you know. And it just kind of like led us, like, yeah, we just got more and more, and people was finding out about us more and more, and you know.
That's awesome, man.
It was just a great thing.
You're gonna do way more. And I have a good feeling that your survival in your next 10 years, you're going to listen to the people, and your food is going to morph as you will evolve. So will your food, and your community will always follow you. You have really loyal followers. Yeah. So,
and I'm about to be one.
You got a couple right here.
I'll see you over at Soul and Smoke, Chef. Thanks so much for stopping by today.
Well,
Chef
thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank
we
you.
appreciate you taking the time.
Man. We'll hopefully be seeing you again.
I won't share.
Later.
Right, cool. Looking forward to coming back.
Thanks, Chef.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for digging into this episode of Conversations in Culinary. Follow and subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss future episodes. Please leave a positive rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find In Culinary on Facebook and Instagram, and inculinary.com.